Hi everybody, this is Pramita here, and we're going to make some collage cards, journal cards, not using book pages because that's the one I have already shared, but using some digital scrap pages, or if you have extra sheets that are pretty neutral in color, you can go with that. So I have used, I don't know the name of the kit, but it is. It is from French Lemon Studio, which was previously called Antique Papery. She has done a kind of rebranding sort of thing. She's still open on Etsy. She had closed her Etsy shop for a while, but I guess the shop is open now. I don't exactly remember the name of the kit, but I found that this background is pretty neutral, so we're going to try and make some journal cards with it. So what I did was I just cut. This is in the portrait format. Now it doesn't matter whether the paper is in portrait or landscape. If you have some neutral background papers, it can be ledger paper, it can be book pages, it can be a neutral background sort of thing, you can use them to make your journal cards. What I did was I just cut this papers into quarters. So I worked on 8 journal cards from these papers. So I just trimmed the edges down and I cut them down. I'll just show you what I mean by that. So I have just gathered up some stuff. This is not going to be a very long video because I would not like to bore you people to death. So what I did was I just you don't have to have a template also. I just folded the paper, and then you get the half of the sheet, and then I trimmed it down, and then I trimmed it into halves. So I got 4 journal cards which measured around, okay, so let me give you the measurement, which measures around 4 inches by 6 inches, I guess, or a little bit less. Yeah, it is a little less than 6 inches because it's A4 size or letter size paper. As you can see, it is around 5 and 3/4, so it can be 5 and a half also, it doesn't matter. So this is one piece that is left I need to work on. So I already have the image ready, but in the meantime what I'll do is I'll just show you an update on the book page cards that so these were the ones that we had done on camera, and some I did off camera. So this was done as a prototype or something, just as a something as a reference point, you can say. So what I did was I made 4 of very similar imaged ones. So these 2 were done on screen, and this was done previously, and I did this one off screen. So I've used paper dolls from Tim Holtz, and these are some images that I had in my stash, these that I've used. So, and the florals, if I don't know, I would like to come out with a shade of pink florals fussy cut, because I already have the blue fussy cuts in my shop, and the colors have even the flowers are very vibrant but not too vibrant. I have used one over here and one over here. So, and there are 5 sheets in the kit, so you get different sizing also. This one is in the pipeline that I will put in my pink florals fussy cuts. So again, I did some layering and this worked out so well. So some image. Now I have not backed this up with paper, as you can see. I will do that eventually. I'll go through these and see if they need any kind of extra stitching anywhere. Like this needs a little bit of fixing, as you can see. I will go over that, and then I'm going to decide that now if it's the right time to put backing paper in. So that's how my brain and functions. So here what I've done is, as I talked before, I have cut these papers down into quarters, and I got 4 journal cards from one sheet. So I used those and I made 8 journal cards using 2 papers, into these kind of cards, and then I've layered various stuff. So that's it. So one I have already finished, and you can see for yourself that it's this that it has come to. And this is again one of the flowers that are coming as fussy cuts in my shop. So I have finished putting together basically 2 pages. I need to put together another one page and then size them differently so that you get a smaller version also. And then you can use them in many ways. That's the idea. So let's see if I can manage to finish this within this week and list this. So this is one of the cards that I have done. I've used this label. This is also some vintage Ornate labels that are available in my shop, and the backgrounds are all scraps. This is, I think, from Journal Boat. This is also in the pipeline. I will talk about that later on, not now. So this is going to be a huge collage project that you will be seeing very soon. So I am towards the end of putting this kit together. So unless and until I am sure I like it, I cannot recommend that. So here what I've done is I have gathered up all the things that I would like to have, and then I'm going to start gluing things down. Now as I glue things down, I'm going to walk you the entire process and of the things that I am using. So the first one is, I'll just show you what I mean by this. So these are some labels that I had, and this was actually a double image. Like there was another lady standing close to this lady with a little girl along with her. So they were co-joined sort of thing, and I found that it was too much for this small space. So what I did was I just snipped it off, and now I have this image, and also I have that extra bit of that lady, which I'm going to do another journal card with. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just put her like this. I just have sort of narrowed down things so that you don't need to spend too much of time. So I'm going to put this over here, and also what I'll do is I'll just okay, so I want this part to be covered. That is the main idea. So what I'll do, I'll put this butterfly over here, or I can just tuck this butterfly in. Okay, and then I can put this here. And regarding this part, I can always cover that up with another label on top. So that's going to be good also. So let's start the gluing process. I'm not going to ink everything down, everything up rather, because it lends a kind of grungy look over a period of time. And the papers that I'll be using, those were the Traveler's Notebook distressed papers, distressed look ones. They will make this very more grungy. I don't want that to happen. So what I'll do is I'll just put this butterfly. So maybe I can put something bigger. See how I keep changing my mind? I thought I'm done with that, and now I'm changing my mind. Okay, so I'm going to put this. Okay, this is not straight, so I'm going to put this, and over here what I'll do is I'll put this in such a way like this. So now is the next thing. I need to fix this butterfly. I think this is from my porch print, this butterfly fussy cut. It's been a while since I printed these because I have been using less of fussy cut butterflies these days, and These were printed long way back, but I thought I should use them. So for the paper dolls, personally I would like to use wet glue, because these are pretty thick cardstock, and they adhere well with the wet glue, better than the glue stick, and that's what we're going to do. And now is the time when I dip my fingers into the glue, because I need to clean the glue brush. It is all gunked up with previous gluing process, so I need to clean that. And this is how it's going to look. Okay, so let me bring out my rag and push this down and clean up the extra glue. I hope you can see what I mean by this. Let me make sure. Yes, my workspace is a mess, and today morning I spent I don't know when you will be watching this, but the day I'm recording this, I spent the entire morning printing up stuff, because I have some custom orders that I need to start working on. So I'm going to place this in this way so that that shape gets covered, or I can put it in this way. I think I'm going to put it this way, because I can always cover this with a bit of label. Okay, so I guess I'm going to try and put the label first and see how things go. So these are some labels that I have, not labels exactly, but they are like pieces of collage sheet. So I'm going to tear this. This is from Pink Monarch. She has these number words sheets in different colors. So I can put this over here, and then somehow it gets covered up. So I'll probably use my glue stick, and I'm not going to ink it, because when I'm going to stitch the journal. So I have a phone call coming. So it was a spam call, and I have put my phone on in the other room, but I could hear it ring. So I thought maybe someone really needs to call me up. So I'm going to put this like so. I just need to make sure that we see only little bits and pieces of this. And again, this is a part of the floral fussy cut that's going to come hopefully very soon, because as I said, I've already finished working on 2 pages. It's going to be a 5-page kit, and the flowers that are of this size will be reduced in size a little bit in the next 2 pages. So you basically oh my god so you basically get 3 pages of different kinds of flowers, and then the rest 2 pages will have a repetition of those, but only in different sizes. So this flower is a little bit tricky. Anyways, I should have been mindful of this fact. Okay, so I'm going to put this. So if I find that the flower is not adhered properly, then probably I'm going to add more glue and fix it up. So this is how it's looking, and if I want, I can trim this off just so that it looks seamless. I can put something over here, but for now I'm good. I can probably add a little bit of glue here, because once I take this off, okay, so I don't want them to be too grungy basically, and this is another one. So I'm going to fast forward this part so that it's easy for you to, you know, see what I'm doing. No fuss kind of collage. I've just gathered up the stuff. Again, this is going to be in the fussy cut that I'm putting together, and they will be available very soon. So keep watching, don't go anywhere. I'll just glue these up and I'll put this on fast forward. So here I'm just showing you how I'm going to layer these cards up. Basically what I've done is I've gathered the stuff that I would like to go on the cover, on the front of the journal cards, and I'm just going to show you how I layer things up very simply, as simple as possible. And I usually do not use more than 3 to 4 stuff, 4 elements rather. So that is one thing I keep in mind, because I don't want this to look too cluttered. And the label that I've used, the gray one, is from my shop. I will point out the shops if I know them. And this floral element which I am trying to tuck under that label is very soon going to come to my shop as floral fussy cuts, and I'm just trying out this piece. There are going to be lots of new things coming. I had been working on these for a while. It's just that I just needed to put some finishing touches, and then so that, you know, I can see that it works out well on when printed out. So I just keep those things in mind. If I don't like it, I definitely would not want that to appear in my shop. So here is a image of that lady within a frame, and that is going to be a part of collage, you know, collage cluster build up sort of thing that I have been working on. I'll definitely release that as soon as possible, because it's nearly done. I just need to add a few things to the collection. It's going to be sort of like what you need to make a cluster like this. What are the things that you would require? So I'm working on that. Mainly it will contain all the labels, some fussy cuts and butterflies and stuff like that, but also vintage images and a little bit here and there. So this is you know, a butterfly that was a freebie on my Facebook group. So if you have not yet joined my Facebook group, then please do. You will have access to a lot of freebies that I generally give. So again, a label that was a freebie for my Patreon, and I have closed down my Patreon now, because I was having some tax issues in my country relating to Patreon. There has been some changes in the, you know, the Reserve Bank that we have, the centralized banking system. So that is why I had to close it down. So that's one of the reason. And the other being me getting too busy and unable to create exclusive content for Patreon. So that is also another reason. I do not want to feel people, you know, my patrons, to feel that I have not given them enough. So that is also one of the reasons. So this image is also going to come in my mini cluster, you know, kit that I'm going to launch. And the floral that I have over here was also a part of the pink and red floral fussy cuts. I don't know if I'm going to add that, because even though I'm using it over here, personally, it did work out in this case, but I don't know if I'm going to include that at all. So I'm going to put this tiny label that I don't know, remember from which shop I had that. So I'm going to probably put that over here, but then it was a little bit wonky, so I just wanted to straighten it out, and that's that. And I was still in two minds whether I need to add something to this or not, and I found that this was a label. Again, this is from the labels that I have in my shop, which is called vintage ornate labels. So I'm just fussy cutting this out. There are 5 sheets in this kit, and there are tons of labels in different sizes and shapes, and they are not your usual labels. They are a little bit different. Some have those designs on them, and which makes it a little bit more vintage looking. So here I have a bunch that I've already done, and I'm working on more. So here are 2 more that are left, and again I have done this, and the image of that lady was available in my on my Facebook freebie stuff, so I used that. Yeah, so I've used that, and this is actually a die cut that is pretty thick cardstock, I would say, and I have just I had to use the wet glue. I usually like to use the wet glue when I'm using thicker papers. So this is another label from the vintage ornate label collection that I have in my shop, and sort of it brings out that peachy color, but I also don't want this to look very muted, so I'm using this blue butterfly. I don't remember the name of the shop. It's probably from Calico Collage. It's maybe one of her freebies, or it also can be from Antique Papery, which is now known as French Lemon Studio. So I don't know if her shop is open now, but she had closed her shop for a while and then she had reopened. Now I want to add a butterfly, but I'm not sure whether I want that or not. I'm just trying to layer things up, and I have that flower that is also going to come in my floral fussy cuts, and this label is also from Vintage Ornate Labels. So I'm going to tuck that in, probably like this. Let's see. So the one thing is sure, I want that label, that oval label at the top, and also I would like to have the florals, the pink floral on one of the sides, and I'm using my wet glue, PVA glue, just to adhere these paper dolls. So this was actually the other part of that lady that I have used before, and I'm going to layer this flower up, and probably I'm going to ditch the idea of using a butterfly there. So I'm going to use this. Again, I'm just trying to decide where I want that to be. Sometimes things get so tricky, and at times it works out fine. So now it is okay. I want that label to be on the other side because I wanted to balance out the image. It was getting heavy on the left hand side, so I decided to add that label, and probably I'm going to add a butterfly also. So I'm just digging into this, so I'll add this butterfly. So again, as you can see, I also try to balance out the colors which are in the card. So I didn't want to make this too chirpy and bright, and I didn't want that, so I used that brownish kind of butterfly. So this is one journal card that I have in the horizontal format, and I'm planning on using that scrap, and I'm just fussy cutting that out. That is from my Floral Fantasy kit that is available in my shop. This was just a scrap I had, and I'm just trying to use up any little scrap that I have being that has been lying around, just so that I have enough space at my work table, because it's really getting messy these days, me having so less time to clean up after every project. And when I'm working with more than 2-3 projects at the same time, it really gets tough. So this is how the things are. So this is this, and I am going to go through the labels that I have. These are from my postal ephemera kit, and I'm going to be using the stamp just to bring a little bit of color, you can say, but in a very muted sense, because this color is very, very muted once I start putting things down. So I can put that label in, but I also want to cover that bottom part of the floral image. So I'm using frayed burlap. And why I like frayed burlap is that it is more on the brownish tone than the vintage photo. So if I want this to be a little bit on the brownish side, it's more on the coffee tones, you can say. So that is why I like that. Vintage photo is sometimes, it has a very reddish note to it. If I might be wrong, but to me, I find that either I go with gathered twigs or I go with frayed burlap. Vintage photo I do use. It would be incorrect if I say I don't, but that is not my first choice. Even though I started this inking process in my journal making process initially with vintage photo, but along the way I discovered that I prefer using gathered twigs or frayed burlap more than vintage photo. But I am not the espresso person or coffee toned person, because that is going to give more grunge to the project. I want a balance. So I'm going to put that over there, and let's see how things go. So I'm going to put that label in, and yes, so I'm going to put that label in and see how things go. See, it's not very bright, but it is bringing in a little bit of color to the journal card also. So I want to put it there, but then I decide that I want to cover up that portion. I can, but I mess up along the way. You'll see when I'm doing the voiceover, by that time I know I have messed up. I put it this way. So that was not the initial plan, but anyway, I'm going to stick with that, and I'm going to use this other bit that I've generated. I can either tuck it here, but no, I try to put that on the left hand side corner, and the project is nearly finished. So here are my journal cards. So I made 8 journal cards of this type. I'll probably be making more because this is really addictive, and I have to fill up the pockets and add additional ephemera to these folders. So I'm also going to create some toppers to go on the journal covers and folders. So let's go through this, how they have done. So I might put a label or something over there, maybe a tiny butterfly, because I think that part looks a little bit odd. So let me see if I can put a little butterfly over there, but it's not covering up the the exact portion that I want. So I changed my mind at the last moment, and these are butterflies from different shops. These are not from my shops. I keep them separately so that I don't mix it up. And the butterflies from my shop are in different box. I need to fussy cut them out. I really have very little time these days. I need to do a lot of fussy cutting, so I can use this butterfly. Probably This is, I don't know, this is probably from either from My Porch Prints or from Artimaze. So I'm not sure about that. And I'm just trying to cover up a little bit of an awkward space out there, but also keep the child's face not hidden totally. um, I don't know if I'm making sense, but it is what it is. So I have these 2-3 journal cards done. Again, I need to put a little bit of a butterfly over there, so probably I'm going to use this. This is from Pink Monarch, and it is one of my favorite shops. You know, she has emerged with such lovely kits, and I really love her style. It's not that I always go with that, but yeah, I do like some of her stuffs very much. And this is the one that we have done. So these two are the ones where I need to add a butterfly to complete the entire thing. And this is going to be too big. I don't want that, because the flower is pretty big. I would stay away from big butterflies. So this is not going well because colors don't go that much. Again, as I said, I'm just going through all the butterflies that I've fussy cut. I'll probably use this. This is from My Porch Prints. So I'm going to use this. So kind of blue butterflies a lot, but yeah, I think it'll bring out the blues in the journals also. So by the time I'm doing the voiceover, the journals have taken shape, and now is this time when I'm going to be working on the cover. So one of the covers I've already worked on, and I will film the other one while so hopefully it's going to come very soon. So thank you everybody for watching this. Bye, have a great day.